Hello, Christine, and great to have you on board. It has taken a little bit to get us together, and we have never actually spoken before, so this is going to be interesting. And I've got to say to start with, I have looked through your LinkedIn and the depth of experience that you've got is just phenomenal. So I'm very excited by looking at that. So welcome aboard.
Thank you, Craig, so much for having me. Yeah, there's quite a bit of adventures in the last 21 years for sure in the business world.
Ah, there has been. Now, I've looked through it and I actually lost count how many companies you've built, sold, built, and sold, and they're just your companies. They're not anybody else's. And my understanding is that you also broker other people's sales as well. Is that about right?
Exactly. Yes, you got it. I had 10, I've had 11 startups. So I've exited all of them. So Magnolia Firm is my 11th. And then I've had too many businesses to count where I acquired, folded in, merged, within those companies I had. So that was fun. So I've kind of personally done every single aspect of M&A on my own. So I know what these business owners are going through. So 3 years ago, I started the Magnolia Firm, and that's my M&A business brokerage firm. And just so much fun. Now I'm helping others with the journey.
That's just quite extraordinary that you've been able to do that. It's tough enough with a team to go through this process of building and then selling a business. Now, a lot of people, they've done 11 businesses, but they haven't been able to sell any of them. They've all just gone into the ether. So, what is the secret there? How are you managing to do this?
So team, you mentioned team. I've always had amazing team members. My largest, I had a wellness spa in San Diego, 2 locations, 37 women, and it was so much fun. Now I've really scaled down. I just have 2 team members. My life is a lot easier, but I still miss those days, even with all the stress and chaos. And,
Hmm.
it's a lot of responsibility when you have employees, obviously. So team number one by far, I think is going to help with the success to exit and then the making customers happy. So not to concentrate, I think some business owners, and we mainly work with tech companies, they're always thinking about that big exit at the end of the line from day one. But from day one, you should be thinking about, providing an amazing service, making your clients super happy, as long as you're focused on that, the exit will come automatically down the road.
That is just such a different perspective to other people that I've spoken with. They all say, oh no, you've got to know your exit. As soon as you start something, know your exit, know where you're going. But I'm guessing that given your track record, that isn't such a stressful issue as knowing your exit because you've already got the runs on the board for that.
Yeah, and I will give the caveat because again, the last company I had was a tech company. The others were service-based businesses mainly. Is that if you're raising capital, you have to know the number. I think an investor's not going to be happy if you're like, oh, we're going and we're building a great company. They're going to need to know the exit number, but just don't focus solely on that.
Hmm. I have to admit I'm a bit of a numbers person myself. I like a good plan. I like to just today I've been building templates for okay, this is how you get when you go into a business to review it from a roll-up perspective. These are the numbers that I'm looking for, and these are the columns, all the data that I need. Populate that, and it's going to spurt out 4 numbers in different colors to see if they're all green and we're good to go. That's how I like to do things myself. But you're very much the people person by the sound of it.
Yeah, and again, that's amazing. Like, don't stop doing that, right? Just, set the plan, get the plan, and hit the road, and just not, I guess, overly plan. I see people getting like paralyzed by perfection, paralyzed by planning. They're planning, 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 and they're never executing. But they feel like they're still accomplishing something by doing that. Like, oh, I'm busy, I had a great day, but one saying is I like to say is the fastest way to the cash. How's the fastest way to the cash? Like that's what you need. You need the profit. You need a legitimate business, right? And I think people saying, they're a CEO, but no revenue yet. I'm like, I don't know if you should, I don't know about that title. Everybody's using the title CEO, for they'll throw our website up, So I think the fastest way to cash is also important. So customers, profit, those are kind of two really big daily focuses.
Progress over perfection, hey? I
Definitely.
2 weeks ago I built my first website. It took me 4 days to build it all and put it together and release it. And then on Sunday, I decided, okay, I'm going to do this thing. I've got myself a partner in the dental space for putting together a dental practice roll-ups at the moment. If you've got the buyer lined up, you may as well do the work to give them some supply, hey? So I thought, okay, well, got to put together a website for this. Did it all in one day. So progress over perfection and speed of implementation is crucial.
I love that. Good job on that. That's great.
I can't say it was a good job. I can say that it's done and it's going to work and everything's there. It may not be pretty, it may not be perfectly synchronized, but it's there and I can now go to market with it all in a day.
Yeah, and it's funny, I'm a big quote person, obviously, you'll see, but and I love mentors and I love books. And Dan Kennedy is this direct marketer from way back in the day.
Yep.
Started studying him like 20 years ago, and he has a quote, good is good enough. There's just these quotes that run through my head like constantly, and I'm reminding myself, good is good enough, good is good enough. Like, because I used to be a perfectionist, right? So that's when we scaled even quicker, when it's like, good is good enough. Also, I don't like the quote, move fast and break things. I changed the quote in my company, move fast and try not to break things. I tweaked it a little bit.
Yes, there's a guy that I met, a billionaire that I met over in LA in November, Bobby Castro. And for the life of me, I can't remember his book name right now, but he values every minute. So redeemable minutes. That's it, redeemable minutes. So you've got all those minutes in a day, you've got to actually redeem those in the best possible way. And I think of that a great deal these days. How am I achieving or redeeming those minutes to move forward as quickly as possible in a productive manner?
Oh, good. I love that too. And it's so funny on our team meeting yesterday, I reminded the team again, because my favorite law is Parkinson's law. Because one team member wanted to give, Calendly is this change, he's doing 15-minute calls with potential buyers. And that's
Yeah.
really all it takes to pre-qual and speak with them quickly, talk about the business, move to the data room. And, then he said, hey, Christine, can I set up a 30-minute, also that people can choose from? I said, no. No, they're going to take the whole 30 minutes. It's Parkinson's law, right? The time you allot for something is the time it's going to take. It's exactly why people get so much done before vacation, right? Because there's this deadline. I got to get all this done, and they get it all done. So you are exactly right. Money is replaceable, time is not.
Mm. On that subject, these tools that we use today, post COVID, with scheduling sessions like this as an example, they're all set to go either on the half hour or on the hour. They're not on the 15 minutes. So they haven't thought about that, and there's no way that you can set that up in there. But I personally like to set meetings for 5 past the hour and finish 5 minutes before the half hour or and the reason for that is I want people to value my time. So if I
Mhm.
can't be there at 2 o'clock, but I can be there at 2:05, well, it puts in the mind of the person that you're meeting, oh, he must be really busy if he's got to squeeze in that extra 5 minutes, and it values your time more in their eyes that way.
Oh, I love that. That's a good one too. That's great.
Hmm. Okay, let's get back to you. Wait, all that's really good, but let's get back to you as well. Now, you do digital products, digital sales. Uh, Tell me about that. What sort of clients do you work with?
Yeah, so just yesterday we spoke with a big security, cybersecurity company. We've done one of those before. Our sweet spot's also agencies. So digital marketing agency, content marketing agency, PR, all these CRM integration agencies are super hot. So that would be an agency you hire to implement or customize Salesforce or HubSpot. Those are a lot of fun. My favorite hat has always been marketing. So that's kind of my tech and marketing are just my two favorites. So yeah, anything remote, digital based is what we handle. And we handle international deals. So I actually lived in Los Angeles for a long time, then San Diego a long time, 23 years, and then just moved to Dubai last March. So, again, I could do deals anywhere in the world. Of course, there's, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Zoom meetings with clients, which is totally fine with me. It's just the the
I live
nature of
in
the beast.
Australia. That's all we ever do.
I know. I mean, you were coordinating for some reason. I thought you were in the States. And so I was trying to give you my California based schedule. Because again, I work all my meetings, I start with my team at night around 5 p.m. And then
Hmm.
California's 12 hours behind. So yeah, it works.
Okay. So do you just sell or do you buy for people as well?
Great question. I'm only on the sell side and the buy, it's such a seller's market. I have so many buyers that reach out to me. I consult with them, so that's kind of fun. I still love working the other side of the deals. So most of the buyers on my deals are not represented. And that's why, I'm a business intermediary. I don't like the word broker because it has bad connotation. And a business intermediary is more appropriate because I'm
Hmm.
mediating between the two parties. I'm helping them both creating a win-win. I love it. But then I also have a lot of buyers coming to me and I'll consult with them hourly and I'll review their deal and I'll kind of tell them the red flags. We get on a Zoom together and we do it live. So I'll do that, but I won't source deals for them. I mean, and they're willing to pay large monthly retainers. And I'm just like, look, there are not enough businesses for sale right now. It is very competitive, hard to find, especially remote-based businesses because people had freedom, during COVID. So we had
Yes.
all those people that went back to corporate and they're like, no way. So now they're getting out of corporate to buy their first business. That's the bulk of my buyers.
Well, I live in the most locked down city in the world during COVID. So
Yes, you
it's quite
did. You in
interesting.
New Zealand.
Yes. Now, the reason that I ask is I've got a great friend and he has built a digital marketing agency on three or four different verticals. He does HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and something else. Something else. And that's the only businesses that he does. And he does it really, really well. This is a 24-year-old. Oh, here I go. I'm so old. 24-year-old kid. He's pulling down $2 million a year in his second year.
Okay,
He is
cool.
he is doing really well and he's going vertical. And he was told, oh, go wider. And he says, I don't want to go wider because I don't know that industry as well. So I've been working with him and we're looking to buy half a dozen different digital marketing groups in or digital marketers in the US and go deep down in those four verticals there. And what I've said to him is, look, just license them. I said, you've got something that they haven't. License out your processes to them. I said, put in a buyout clause for them as well if they hit this mark and acquire them that way. That way, everybody makes money out of it. It's an interesting way to do an M&A, but if ever again with any M&A, you've got to make sure everybody's happy. Everybody feels as though they've won in some fashion.
That is a brilliant idea. I won't steal it, but that's a great idea. It's kind of like getting them to start, supporting them, and then acquiring them. So again, you're building a buyer market because right now it's so hard to find those companies, the special digital agencies. So you guys doing that. Another me, my quotes, here's another one. The riches are in the niches. I'm a
Mm,
huge fan. Just stay in your lane.
that's what I
Whether
think
it's
too.
territory, yeah, it's if it's a territory, if it's a, types of businesses you work with. I'm guessing the fourth, if I had to guess, is probably roofing. You named HVAC, plumbing, you named a few, electrical, it might be roofing is probably,
Probably.
yeah, they kind of
I'm
go in
not in that
this
arena,
ratio.
so yes, excuse me.
Yeah,
But
yeah, no,
but no, he's doing really well. He's 24 years of age.
that's
Just
crazy.
it is fantastic. I'm going to give him a big plug here. His name is Carter Douglas. Carter
Okay.
Douglas, and he lives in Brisbane. So there you go. If you want to know this guy's name, Carter Douglas is the person you need to be in contact with if you're in those niches.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So there you go. That was an unintentional plug, but it was quite relevant. And the reason why I suggested that scheme for him is because his stuff is all SaaS based. So he can set up different instances for each of those agencies within his own database. So he keeps control of the environment and just can license it out. Okay. I've got to apologize, Christine. Generally, when I come to these podcasts, I have a list of 3 or 4 questions. So far, in more than 25 podcasts, I have not made it past the second question. I get distracted.
No, it's fine. What's what is the I'm excited to know. We got some questions lined up, some specific ones you always ask. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
You're ready? Well, tell me the secret to making the sale of the business. You've done this so many times. What makes the successful sale? How do you get it across so quickly? Because I've looked at it, you're looking 18 months from one business to another business. You're building these rapidly. You've got to be selling them rapidly as well. How do you do that?
Yeah, so like I'll use a really great example because there's a lot of stories. During COVID, there were, like I said, I owned a wellness spa 2012, exited 2017. During COVID in 2020, September, so we're kind of far along into it, but then state of California decided it was shutting down again. So what it did was it made business owners nervous. There was this spa skincare clinic for sale, 1/3 of the price because it was COVID. I knew the spa really well. I never thought I would get back into the industry, so I had a non-compete, which was literally expiring. It was a 3-year. This business was, I had to buy it like 2 months before the non-compete expired, and I called the other owner. He was fine. He was fine. So picked it up super cheap during COVID, and then another spa was walking away. So they gave it to me for free. So I picked up two during 2020. And I'm a wartime general. I've always been like, I'm not a peacetime war. I get bored. It's like I went through 2008. I grew my company 10% and it was a cleaning company when everybody was cutting expenses, right? Women were going back to work and they were just like, they'll pay to clean. And that was the
Yeah,
market I tapped immediately because all my clients just started to sprout the vacation homes they got rid of. And, a lot of my clients in San Diego. So wartime general, picked up the two spas, implemented tech, which was huge. Both the women were in their 60s. Both the women were using written hand appointment books. I just, the day I got in, put tech in place, right? A whole system. Credit cards, they were accepting cash. They were manually running credit cards. It was crazy. So day one did that. And 62% within like a month or two, 62% of bookings were done automatically. People were just
oh,
booking
that's
online.
brilliant.
62%. So then my front desk person wasn't as busy. She could concentrate on marketing. We could concentrate on scaling. We were scaling. And then, yeah, within probably about 18 months, I think one was a year, one was 18 months, if I'm not mistaken, exited both. And then did well on those, which that was fun. With our listings, when I sell companies, we are relentless at follow-up. And I think that's huge. I think a lot of, other business intermediaries, M&A advisors, I hate to say it, they're lazy. I'm trying to find my own acquisition right now. They're not responding whatsoever to me. I'm inquiring, oh, I'm really interested in buying this business you have listed. I get no response. Or if I do, it's like 4 days later. Or if I do, it's because I was like, hey, hi, like, is it still for sale? So we literally do 15 touches, which kind of sounds like it might be annoying, but
15
again,
touches. Wow.
15. So we do, so the second the inquiry comes in on the listing, we're immediately responding. I don't think we've ever missed one, within the day, right? It's usually within minutes, maybe hours. And we call, text, email every other day. So that's 5 days spread out. And then it's in our system, we have a great CRM system that we use with a lot of automations. So it's just like a click, call, they didn't
Mm.
answer, it leaves a message. You push another button, it sends a text message template. Hey, I left you a message. Boom, another button, email with more info. Hey, I left a message. Call me when you're ready. We want to talk to every single potential buyer before we let them into the data room. That's another rare thing that I see
Of
being done.
course.
Brokers
You
are
think that's
lazy.
rare?
Yeah, they're just like, here's the data room. Don't even talk
Oh
to the person.
no.
Capital. And that's my clients' financials and all this stuff and what if it's a competitor. And so that's really important. But I know that that's why we sell fast. I know it, especially now being on.
Wow. That is just, I think the thing that I really got out of that was the follow-up. 15 touch points. I did a presentation I went to a presentation recently, and the guy had this formula, and you had to fill in the numbers for yourself as to what you're doing. And then he said, I got this number. He said in the 88%. And then there was one of them was follow-up. How do you rate on a percentage basis your follow-up skills? I put 5% there for myself because I think that's my weakest point. And I didn't realize that it was my weakest point until this guy actually basically hit you in the face with it. And you had to be honest and write down a score for it. So I did that. And this guy had 88% as his final result. I ended up with 0.65%.
No.
So then I messed about with it. I got the calculator out and I changed my follow-up to 50%. And that instantly boosted it up to 40 odd percent. Such a great demonstration that my follow-up has been letting me down. So just today, as an example, I went through my CRM because I tagged them, no shows, tagged them, no show twos. And I went through all the no shows and all the no show twos. Nobody ever gets to a no show three. But and
I
I went
love
and
it.
followed them all up today because I recognized how important that is. So I love that you brought that up today. Thank you. I think that's
Yeah.
for me, that's the takeaway today as well.
Oh, good. Yeah, because everybody's spending so much in marketing and then you're not answering the phone, you're not following up. So it's like, this doesn't make any sense. Like you're spending so much of your time and energy on marketing. And a big piece of advice is text messaging, everybody listening. So 98% of text messaging gets opened. Emails, I don't know the number, but it's very low. And there's just so much noise, right? And I keep telling my team, because it used to be you needed 7 follow-ups, then it changed to 12 or 14, right? The stats keep
Yeah.
bumping up because people are so distracted, myself included. I'm grateful when people check in. I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot. Like, let's jump on a call. So text is huge. And again, nobody's gonna get mad. I think I've gotten two people in all these years that were like, you're following up too much, and they got upset. And I tell my team because the team is caught off guard. They're like, they're Gen Z and they're kind of like, well, are you sure? And like, and then, they like using the phone, thank God, because I know most Gen Z don't want to pick up and talk on the phone. But the text is just like a quick text back, hey, not interested anymore. Okay, fine. Take them off the list. The end.
Hmm. Second question. Told you I had two questions. Second question is, I was looking through your LinkedIn profile. Your the last LinkedIn review that you got was the 10th of January 2023. Why is that? Why are you, why have you not got more reviews in there?
Yeah, for recommendations, I do have a lot, so that's good. And I have
I
friends that,
know. I've seen the other
yeah,
ones. But
yeah.
why
And no,
LinkedIn? Why is that not got reviews in there? And how important is that to you?
so
Or is it
we
something that you hadn't thought of?
No. I noticed it like 6 months ago. And then I kind of told myself, well, I want to be a giver first before asking. So I need to set time and give other people reviews, right? And then I could ask later, like, hey, I wrote. So I feel like I need to practice what I preach and write reviews for other people. That's the number one reason. Number two is if you go to our success stories, so the magnoliafirm.com/success stories, all my focus is there because I want my firm to have all the reviews, right? I mean, we have video testimonials, we have written testimonials, just one after another, because again, that's another thing I don't see on brokerage websites. So I'm like, were these clients really happy? Or they'll say, oh, it's, proprietary, it's confidential. I'm like, you could say the name, you can connect them with the client. You can not put I mean, we have the name, the pictures, like all that
Yeah.
fun stuff. So that is our focus that we've done really well at. So yeah, I think the LinkedIn recommendations, but I see people with none. Some people don't have any.
I know. I think you deserve more. That's all.
Oh, that's
I,
sweet. Oh, thank
I've
you.
looked at your reviews on other things and I looked at your LinkedIn and I thought, okay, why have you not prioritized that? Because I've got you, and I think you answered it. You have gone for company brand, corporate branding over personal branding. I've gone the other way. I've gone personal branding over corporate branding.
Yeah, but you know what? So you can't sell. I feel bad because we get approached and they've built their entire company around them and they're the face of the company. It is
Mm.
extremely, I mean, we've done it. It hasn't been easy. It's called go delete all the Instagram posts where it's your face everywhere, take your face off the website. Like it's not impossible if they still have a team in place. So that is the reason I always like my first company was called Christine's Cleaning Service. I still have the little
Oh, too
flyers.
much.
Eh, Yeah, and then 2 years in, I was like, "Whoa, I'm never gonna be able to sell this like this thing." And I already had team. I was like, "Why did I name it myself?" So I changed it to Cleanology, and it was very easy to exit after that. So yeah, that is definitely by design. I don't want my company wrapped around me because then they're gonna be like, well, Christine has all these testimonials. Even in the testimonials on the site, we make sure my name isn't, even though I did the deal, we make sure that my name is not constantly mentioned. And
Oh,
I don't need to
so
be the face of the company. I don't need to be the star of the show.
I'm really pleased that I asked the question now then, because you've made an absolutely conscious decision. This is the strategy you're going to follow. And I think it's been worth delving into that to find out why you made that. So no, that's excellent.
Yeah, and I've never gotten to talk about that. So thank you for that question. I've never brought it up. I've done a lot of podcasts. So yeah, I think people listening, you could do it in the beginning. Sometimes you have to, right? You're a one-man show. You don't have an employees yet. So you are the face. You have to be the face. You have to build a reputation and you can build it off yourself. But you need to start phasing yourself out once you start getting closer to thinking about an exit.
Another great point. Absolutely. And that's crucial. You said before you can't be the face of it. You can't be all through the Instagram as an example. But when you start to come to an exit, you have to go through that social media. You have to clean it up and make sure that the focus is the business, the branding for that business. But the personal branding does give you access to different people that you wouldn't
Yeah,
get from a corporate brand. And
definitely.
I
That's
find
true
that
too.
useful.
Very true.
Okay. Well, they were my two questions. Have you got anything for me, Christine?
Yeah, I love asking. I have two things. I love asking other people, other professionals, what's your favorite book and or podcast other than your own that you like to learn from?
There is the M&A Science podcast that I like, and I'm so bad with names sometimes. I've forgotten the guy's name right now. I only interviewed him a couple of weeks back, but yes, the M&A Science podcast, I think that's really good. He's done 435 episodes, and it's really good quality people there. So I like that one. Favorite book? I've got to say, I'm not a huge reader. However, Adam Coffey's books, Empire Builder, and the like, his four books on merger and acquisitions, they're the ones that I'm reading right now. And actually, if I bring up my File Explorer, it's right there. So yes, they're the ones that I'm reading right now, is Adam Coffey's. So, and
Nice
I've
to
I've met
introduce.
him a
Yeah,
couple
he's
of times
great.
now. He's excellent, and I'm catching up with him again in Sydney in what, 5 months. So looking forward to that as well.
Oh, good. And then my second is more of a comment, not a question. You're so kind. You're so complimentary. I really appreciate it. It's funny. Before we hit record, I told you I was just in Australia for the first time earlier this month. I went to Melbourne though.
That's
Was
where
there
I
for
am.
10 days.
Yep,
Oh, you are? Okay, good.
yep.
Oh, we could have met in person a couple weeks ago. Darn it. Darn it. I know, and I didn't even post on, I typically will post on LinkedIn once I book a flight. Hey, I'm going to be in the city. Does anybody want to meet for coffee? So darn, next time for sure. I'll be back.
Done.
But everybody's so kind. I'm like, oh, I love Australians. It was like the second I landed in the airport. You guys are just such kind people. My best friend here in Dubai is from Melbourne, and that's why I went. So.
Ah, there you go. Yes, the Aussies do get around, no doubt.
But you guys are far. You're far from everything. I didn't realize that.
I could not tell you in the last, well, 2 months how many 1 a.m.s, 4 a.m.s I've done just to talk to people. But you've got to go to them, don't you? And
Yeah. Yeah,
okay,
you make
there's the next one. Cover this one pretty quickly because we are running out of time here. But how do you meet your clients? How do you attract your clients? Because you've already told me you don't go for the personal branding. So we're going for the company branding, I expect. But how do you get out there to attract those clients?
We were spending $8,000 a month over this last summer to try to find clients. That's how hard it was.
Wow.
So cold outreach, SDR, we hired firms, LinkedIn, mailed postcards because I just wanted to give direct mail a shot to see if if it could work all these years later. I mean, 40 podcast interviews I did last year because I found a buyer. He watched the podcast mowing the lawn, listening to me. He went to our website and he bought a $4 million company like that. So I was like, team, get me on every single podcast out there. So we were doing a lot. Now I scaled it all down because now it's all word of mouth, like even or Google. So we spend about 500 a month, I think, which isn't a lot on Google Ads because that is a buyer, everybody listening, again, that's a buyer looking to buy, right? They're searching, someone to sell my business. So that they're ready to buy. If I do Instagram, Facebook, other methods, postcards, all that other stuff, you got to hit them when they're thinking about selling, which is very difficult. So Google right now, it is Google and it is word of mouth. And we give anybody listening, very generous, extremely generous. We've cut some really big checks for referrals that you send us. So I'm always
Okay.
appreciative of that.
We definitely got to round this off. Christine, I would like to have you back on if I could, please. I would like to just focus on scaling next time. What do you think of that
I
as an
would
idea?
love that. I
Would
would love
love
that.
that?
That's my favorite topic. Scaling, marketing, growing company, making money, all my favorite topics.
Then let's do another session, shall we?
We shall. And you've been so accommodating with the time zone differences too. So what
We'll
time
get it
is it
right
there?
next time.
7 p.m., 6 p.m.? It's not too bad,
It's
right?
7:30 now.
Okay, that's not bad.
And just a heads up, your clock's been stuck at 7:15 the whole session.
Oh yeah. That's not my real background. I don't have as pretty of a background. It's kind of boring.
But no, let's catch up again and just do a whole session on scaling. I'd really like to get your input on that, I think.
Yes, happy to do so. So yeah, we'll coordinate again and I'll
Brilliant.
come right back on anytime.
Excellent. Any last words, Christine?
No, I think we covered a lot and what we didn't, we'll do next time.
Brilliant. Well, I'm going to do more follow-up and I'm going to check your LinkedIn profile again for more recommendations. Put a little note on the calendar to go back and check that because you deserve more in there. And what you should be doing straight after this is you should be, hey, Craig, send me a recommendation in from your podcast.
I was just about to say that in real time right now.
Yeah,
Like
do
you
it. Do
you
it.
can help me, yeah. So you
Get onto
just request.
LinkedIn and ask me for a recommendation.
Okay, I will do that. You got it. Great tip.
It's a lesson for everybody that's watching this. Don't hold off. Get off the call and just do it straight away. Make it happen.
Yes, and I did just get a client recently off of LinkedIn. So for the first time, that was taking a while. I put a lot of work in my LinkedIn. If you guys see, I post often, and so we finally got one. I don't know why it took so long, but that's another good source of clients.
Brilliant. Well, I'm looking forward to catching up again. I will sort this out and we'll talk soon.
Okay, sounds
Thank you.
good. Thanks for having me.